This June 9th meeting of the Radford City School Board will come to order. Please join us for a moment of silence. And now let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You want to lead us, Ms. Swing?
Certainly. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone's had a chance to review the agenda. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and we're ready to get this show on the road.
Okie dokie, what an exciting night. I mean, we have a room full of smiling faces, as Mr. Dobbins mentioned, and we are so glad that you all are here with us this afternoon, and you're here for a great reason. We'll get to that in just a moment. We're going to go pretty quickly through these things because some of us have two places to be at one time. So with that in mind, I would like to call up Dr. McDaniel and Miss Mosby for some special recognition. Well, you are part of that, but you don't have, you know what? Well, I think you were instrumental in getting the, so you can support Ms. Mosby. I'd like to announce the reason for our special guest from the VSBA here this evening is because Pulaski County and Radford City Schools have been selected as the recipient of the second annual VSBA Showcasing Innovation Award for the regional category for our outstanding program called Bridge to Excellence Manufacturing Program. The program was chosen for its creativity, impact, and commitment to meaningful collaboration. So there were a lot of people that made this happen, but all of it went through you, Ms. Mosby, so I would like for you to be the one to officially accept this award on our behalf. And from the VSBA, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Amy Walker.
Ms. Walker is here. So because we're in conjunction with Pulaski County, she's got to zip out of here and run to their school board meeting and make the same presentation. But at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Thank you so much,
Yes, ma'am.
Superintendent. Good evening, members of the Radford City School Board. I would also like to acknowledge Ms. Winter. She is our regional vice chair. Thank you so much for having me tonight. My name is Amy Walker, and I'm chair of the VSBA Blue Ridge region. It is an honor to be here this evening on behalf of the Virginia School Boards Association to present you with this award. This award recognizes your outstanding work with the Bridge to Excellence Manufacturing Program, an innovative program that moves beyond traditional career awareness activities by creating a structured regional workforce immersion program. The experiences given to students provide them with a clear understanding of both the technical skills and professional behaviors that are required for success in manufacturing careers. I'd like to say congratulations on this well-earned honor, and thank you so much for setting a powerful example in excellence of public education.
Can you guys come out front for a picture? Thank you very much. So while we gather for the picture, I'll just remind you all that the Bridge to Excellence program takes kids at the high school on each Friday in the fall to a different manufacturing location throughout the New River Valley, along with Pulaski County kids, and they tour that facility and get to know the folks better, and also the businesses are then able to get to know our kids better and what they have to offer that particular business after graduation. That's all.
Ready?
Thank you. What we have to be very careful with is that they don't hire our kids right off the school bus. Right. We'll put this. We'll frame this and put it in your office. And again, I want to thank Ms. Mosby and her counterpart, Ken Arnold at Pulaski County Schools, for making this a reality for not only manufacturing kids, I'm not sure if you knew this, but we also have a healthcare arm of that program, and soon to add, hopefully, education arm also. So thank you again for recognizing us. Thanks for coming to see us, and you're welcome here anytime. Yes, ma'am.
You all come to Patrick County again and see us.
Yes, ma'am. That's my people.
There is a shared award, so I understand that Pulaski's gonna keep it for a
Oh.
while this year, and then y'all can switch maybe next year.
That would be great.
All right.
All right. I was about to give you that back, but that does have our name on it. Okay, I'm going to keep that.
All right, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you all. Good night. Thank you.
And congratulations on your baseball team. Yes, state champs.
Well, not yet. The Mets.
Oh, sorry.
Playing tonight.
Well, you can, I guess I just jinxed that.
We were state champs, what, a couple of years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we have our regional finals. They're playing our, I guess, the game before regionals tonight at Patrick County.
Well, good
So,
luck.
prayers for us.
Thank you. All right, next up, I would like to call Bobby Wright to the podium. She's almost there already. And she has very special presentations.
So this year, we're going to honor our students that have perfect attendance for the school year. We have 13 students across the district that has not missed a minute of school. 170 days they were there the whole time. So we're going to honor them and the school that won the award for having the best attendance this school year. And I am very remiss that Cole Wilder is not here with us tonight because, as you know, he loves that he
Yes.
has won this award last year. And so this year's school with the highest attendance goes to Bell Heath. So Assistant Principal, come up.
Very nice.
Okay, so on to our kids. And so we had, we're going to go with McCard first. So this young lady, her mother told me, and this was an interesting story that I wanted to share, that one day she was going to check her child out of school. And this is a kindergartner. And she said, "No, Mom, if I go home early, I won't have perfect attendance."
Wow.
So at 5 years old, she's starting out perfect. So Claire, you want to come on up? She also won a bicycle for her perfect attendance. All right, next from Bell Heath, we have several from Bell Heath. They're going to join us. So we have Annabella Burrows. Landis Graham. There you are. Gavin Hallett is not here. He is, I believe, in Florida. So we're going to keep his for him.
That's excused.
Tessa Joyner.
Perfect.
Dalton Sellers. Hunter Sutherland. All right, and from Dalton,
Hunter, you come to
we
the,
have
there you go.
Annabelle's sister, Alice. All right.
Wow.
Mackenzie Sutphin. And Lillian Thatcher. high school, we have
Come on back here
two.
behind. Thank you.
Only one of them is here with us. Noah, you just walked in. Noah Dobbins, who is a senior. And then Nathan Simpkins, who is a junior, who is also with us.
You guys want to
We
come
have
around?
one name
I don't think we'll fit.
right here. Sorry.
While everyone gets their smiles on, I want to make sure that we're aware that how hard Miss Wright works to help families realize the importance of attendance, and then for the families who instill in their kids the importance of attendance as well. So thank you, families, very much.
Everybody, look at me, but stay there for just a second so some parents can get their pictures after I get off. Stand up if you need to.
I'd like to know their grades as a result of being there every day. You know what I mean?
Good job, guys.
Great job. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And thank you, families, for being here tonight, making this a very special event.
So as we're talking about attendance awards, we've done several things this year in the schools to try to increase our attendance. And we also did something special for the teachers. We've had at McCarg and Bell Heath, we actually gave away small prizes every week. So if you got the flu this week, next week you're right back in it, and that seemed to be a tremendous love of the kids there. They loved to pick out what they wanted. So we did that. We had some drawings at the high school and Dalton as well. But at the end of the school year, we wanted to recognize the teachers who had good attendance. There were, I think, four that had perfect attendance all year long. As y'all know, I don't keep up with their attendance. So. Some data, if you'll, Stacy.
One of those with perfect attendance was a bus driver too.
So this is, you'll see just my data, court hearings, formal attendance hearings, school-based meetings. We had those up until 2 days till the end of the school year. If you'll go on to the next one. McCarg finished out, we're a little lower at McCarg, 94% at the end of the school year for the month of May. At Bell Heath, you'll see they're up 96% attendance. That's average daily attendance. And at Dalton, they're up to 96, so they tied. Dalton and Bell Heath was within 0.2% of each other, so
Wow.
good job on that. And then the high school finished strong at 96%.
Wow.
So we've seen some great improvements through the year. Probably one of my proudest things is the high school logged over 1,000 flex hours this year. So those are hours that are earned back by the students, where we get to count in our time. And as a district, on the chronic absentee numbers, we have been as low as 75 in the past, and this year we are at 88.5%, which means we're right at the very top, leading the state. So, thanks all you parents who came, and I'm done for the day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, Ms. Wright does excellent work reminding our parents and families and students how important attendance is to their education, and she's made quite the mark on our division. And these kids that we were just photographed are, they really have something to be proud of in that they made it a priority to not miss. So we appreciate their efforts and the family's efforts. So real quickly, graduation was a success. We haven't met since graduation. We had the hard pivot at 10 a.m. that morning, moved the ceremony inside. I want to thank Mr. Simpson and his team for being so professional in the move to indoors. Families and students seem to enjoy themselves as they celebrated our seniors' accomplishments. So thanks to the high school for making lemonade out of lemons. End of the year celebration, field days, and academic and athletic award assemblies helped bring families into our schools and recognize the accomplishments of our students. My calendar for the last week of school was full of things that were all celebratory, and we really appreciate the events that bring our families into our schools and showcase what we're up to. Athletes that are still in action include boys. Brady Sutherland is still playing tennis. He'll play Friday morning at 9 a.m. for the boys state singles semifinals, as will Lydia Pratt, Liberty University, Friday 9 a.m. for the girls singles semifinals. Lydia and Ellie Steele will play doubles Friday afternoon at Liberty University, and then if things go the way I think they will, we'll play Saturday for state championships in all three of those events. So we really want to be sending up some positive thoughts for, now all you guys are up front. That's the way we like it. We wanted to send up positive thoughts for Brady and Lydia and Ellie coming up this weekend. Some projects that Mr. Grimm will speak to later include some upgrades to certain buildings and certain lots. Okay, that'll be coming up a little bit later on, but there's a lot going on this summer is my point. All right, for school and student showcase, that's all.
Okay. All right. You've had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting. I think I saw one overnight field trip request. And so if you have no questions, is there a motion to approve consent items?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. They stand approved. All right. Did we have anyone signed up to speak tonight? Okay. All right. So we can skip down to your report. Dr. Joyce? Huh? Did you want to speak tonight? Oh, you want to speak? Come on up.
That sign-in sheet's just a formality. We make the rules. She can speak anytime. The floor is yours.
Hi, I am Rhythm, and today I wanted to talk about bullying and inappropriate comments. I went to support my wrestling team at Carroll County, and I saw an anti-bullying tree. And I thought it'd be a good idea that we have it in McCarg, Bell Heath, the middle school, and also in the high school to try dialing down bullying. The next thing I want to talk about is inappropriate comments, that we could also use the tree to help discourage these thoughts and comments. And I have pictures of the tree that I would like to pass around to y'all.
Please do.
Yes. You can keep the ones, just I want the extras back. Okay.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
You're welcome.
We're always looking for ways to make our schools more friendlier and safer. And
We especially like it when students want to come up with good ideas to help with that as well. It's great.
would you tell us your name again, sweetie?
Rhythm.
Rhythm. Okay. Thank you, Rhythm.
So on this tree, the leaves, what is written on, like what might be something that is written on a leaf?
It's like, don't be mean and stuff like that.
So statements of like kindness,
Yeah.
things like that?
Yeah.
So did those leaves have kids, so the kids that wrote that, did they have their name on it?
No.
So it's just like anonymous thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you again for sharing.
Mhm.
All right.
Now,
So first agenda item would be my recommendation to implement background checks for all athletic and academic coaches, paid and volunteer. Obviously, our paid folks go through a little more rigorous onboarding, but I would like for the same to be done for our volunteer coaches, anyone that's going to be in close contact with kids, students on academic or athletic teams. I feel like it's just good business for us to have them go through a background check as well. I've checked with Mr. Wade. He thinks it's a great idea. Other divisions do it. I don't know that there needs to necessarily be a vote on that. I would just like for the board to be made aware of the fact that I would like to, in August, begin implementing that, or actually July, when we start to onboard volunteer coaches. Yeah, it's specifically important in the spring because we have so many activities and so few coaches that we really welcome volunteers, and I don't want that to come across as that we don't. We do. And any volunteer would likely subject themselves to the background check so that they could be a part of this program, whatever program that is. And so I would just like for us to institute a background check practice so that we all feel comfortable with who's helping our kids and our student athletes. Okay?
I think in addition to that, Mr. Goins last night from the rec department was talking about possible training for their coaches. I wonder if we could get him to help us bring that to our coaches and new coaches and volunteers.
Right. So all of our paid coaches are subjected to the vector trainings.
Right.
So that's helpful. The volunteer coaches are not subjected to vector training at this point simply because it's so time consuming, and we just don't want to make volunteering to coach our student athletes too burdensome. That doesn't mean vector is unimportant, but I think those vector trainings take several hours to complete. So I don't want that to be a burden. What we can do is make sure that coach is not left alone with those student athletes without a paid coach who has gone through those vector trainings. So I've seen that done plenty of times, where the volunteer is there, very helpful, very involved, but not left alone, with kids where it's unsupervised. Now, the trainings that Mr. Goins talked about could be something different. I would like to.
I would like to find out more about that also.
I can circle back to him and see what he offers for his folks.
I have a feeling it would not be as involved as vector, but
Right.
maybe I'm wrong.
Sure. I'm happy to go back and check on that.
Okay.
I presume this process would be very similar to what we've used in the past, like for overnight chaperones, that sort of
Yes.
thing. So just to let everyone know as well, for simplicity, you go through that process once for a time period. It's not one of those things you have to, so we don't discourage any coaches. You don't have to go through a background check for every time you want to volunteer
No.
to an event. It would be, I think it was 2 years or something of that
Yeah,
nature.
more of a blanket scenario.
Right, so, and I think even whenever I did, I was issued a little card that I had the time period on it. Maybe something to look into, to make sure we're doing the similar process.
Sure.
Because, one, it's an expense. Every time we have to run a background check, we do have to pay for that. And two, if we can reassure our volunteers that you're not gonna do this for
Right.
every event that you're on volunteer. I apologize, by the way, for everyone else. Yes, I am wearing, earbuds, but I had a little issue earlier today, and I can't hear that well, so it's actually helping my hearing at the moment, so. It's not that I'm being rude, taking photos, I'm just bouncing around my hearing issues.
I thought you listened to a podcast.
Just the one we're having here at the moment.
Oh,
so-
okay.
As long as it's not
Later.
So I talked to Mr. Wade, and this is something that we can pretty easily implement starting in July. Okay. Thank you. Next up, I'd like to welcome to the podium Mr. Simpson, who has some information about course additions at the high school.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. So back earlier this spring, you approved our course catalog for this upcoming school year, but we have a few additions to add for some programs we're excited about adding at the high school. Air Force, JROTC, as well as physics. And so the courses that are in front of you, we went ahead and put in Air Force JROTC 1, 2, 3, and 4 in preparation for how students would progress through that program. As of right now, we have between 35 and 40 students who have signed up between grades 8 through 12. So we are very excited about that. And so to best kind of give you an idea of what that means, I was just going to read the course description for the first year course. It says students are introduced to the Air Force JROTC program with instruction focusing on aerospace science, including aviation history, principles of aircraft flight and navigation, development of aerospace power, aerospace vehicles, rocketry, space and technology programs, and the aerospace industry. Students explore Air Force traditions, customs, and courtesies, character, and the foundations of U.S. citizenship. Leadership education develops leadership skills, acquaints students with the practical applications of life skills, and includes a drill and ceremonies component. Instruction in personal wellness and health and fitness encourages cadets to lead healthy, active lifestyles into adulthood. And so just read that to give you an idea of all that comes with it. It is not a recruiting program for the military. It's a leadership development program that focuses on citizenship, and you can just imagine the sense of camaraderie and sense of belongingness that this brings. I've seen it in other divisions, and it's just, we're really excited about it. So we're working on hiring an instructor in the next month and get it kicked off in August. So we went ahead and put the course sequence as students would progress through that program. All right. And then next up is physics, and we had already talked about physics with regular physics, standard level, and AP physics is what was originally proposed. Which might be revisited at a later date. But since that time, we've hired an instructor who is qualified to teach dual enrollment physics. So we didn't know that at the time until we hired, and so Mr. Bloodworth can teach that. And we'd like for that give students an opportunity, of course, to get college credit without the pressure of the AP test. Also, AP Physics has three different AP Physics tests. So as we're kicking off the program, it's like which one's the right fit. I think as we learn more about the students taking that class, we might eventually pursue an AP test, but for now we would like to do dual enrollment. So that's the updates I wanted to share with you. Are there any questions?
How about those enrollment
How
numbers?
many students can you take in the ROTC? You said you had,
Between 35 and 40 have signed up, and the goal that the Air Force wants to see is to get us to 50 but we have 3 years to get there. And how many can we take? A lot. So I mean, it's full-time teacher, so we could take over 100 if that many kids were interested.
I guess when you spread across 2 semesters,
Correct.
if each section was full, that's 6 sections.
Yeah, if you think any full-time load that any teacher would have, this would apply to. That's all they're teaching at our school.
So would there be like one semester, a section, and then the same section again, second semester?
Great question. We're
Okay.
thinking about that right now. We would like students to be involved in the program year long, but also with an option to, if it doesn't work out in their schedule, we don't want that to, prevent them from taking it. It's kind of similar to how we've built band under the semester block. Students are really taking that year long, but if for some reason they can only do fall or spring, we would accommodate that.
So also to keep in mind, if I were a student there and took JROTC semester 1 and couldn't fit it in semester 2, I could still maybe become involved with the extracurriculars that the JROTC program is involved with, like drill or things on the weekends or whatever that might look like. It doesn't mean that I drop that program altogether. I just kind of join them at the end of the day or on the weekends.
So do we have an idea, like, what the extra activities are going to look like? Because I know people are asking as why.
So I can only speak to my experience in other divisions. That would be in Carroll County, the Army ROTC, JROTC had like obstacle course.
Oh,
You would
okay.
go off and compete in obstacle course types of events.
Okay.
There's drill, there's marksmanship.
Yeah, right. There are marksmanship with. Did he say bow and arrows or just with?
I think there is archery as well, but
Right.
could be air
Um,
rifles as well.
So there are lots of things that take place after school, outside
Right.
of school hours.
Like maybe before and
Yes.
or after.
Yes,
kind of
and
thing.
you may have more information from Montgomery County.
Yeah, the obstacle course, they called it Raider Company, which was like just a real team oriented. I'm not sure all they did, but it looked fun, and they would scale ropes and climb things. And
Right.
so,
Right.
yeah, I think as you described, they could participate in it, whether they were actively in the class or not. And of course, something that you might gather, but we didn't say it, is there's a leadership structure that's involved as students get older. You know, of course, this would be kicking it off, so our older students, they would still have some roles, but if a cadet's been in the program 2, 3, 4 years, now they're really running and teaching the younger students. And I think the idea, of course, when we bring instructor on board, we'll get a more idea, but to have mixed grade level. It wouldn't just be freshmen in one class and sophomores in another. It would be mixed so that you could have that kind of student leadership opportunities within each class.
Do they like achieve any rank as they go up through it?
Yeah.
I believe
Okay.
so.
Okay.
Yes.
And they made clear that we understood it was going to be student-led. The minute they felt comfortable letting students lead the program, they were going to do that. So that's,
Did you say this is already, this is already at Montgomery County? Or do they have a different?
They call it Corps Cadets. It's not officially JROTC like we would be. So we get actually more support from the Air Force in launching the program and resources because we're officially JROTC.
So along those lines, just a point of clarification, I have gotten a couple of questions about it. We list the budget impact of 0, but initially there was the ideology that we supply one of the 2 officers, the Air Force supplies the secondary officer and all the supplies and materials
Right.
necessary. But we had, unless I misunderstood, we had moved around some other opportunities, so we really have a net 0.
right. And so that's a little misleading. The budget impact on this agenda item was just for this presentation?
That's why I wanted to be sure. 'Cause I
Just for
didn't
adding
say,
the
well,
course.
We don't pay anything for
Right,
that.
no. The program itself,
We're close to a net 0 on that by moving some things around.
Yes.
As my notes had said, but.
thanks to this lady here, we were able to capture some funds and redirect them.
I just want to be sure.
Never on
Yeah.
top of it.
But this agenda item, I mean, I guess it's a little misleading.
I still
What,
think-
his presentation has no budget impact.
Sure, yeah, and it's largely, again, just for clarification, the Air Force is picking up the majority of the expense for
Mhm.
this, and that's why it's such a phenomenal opportunity, in my opinion. Thank you.
Mhm.
That brings
I'm
me
excited.
To my question, uniforms and all that stuff, they provide to the
Yes.
students and they use them while they're here and kind of like band uniforms?
Yes.
And then do they get recycled as students move in and out or grow or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And now there is they made it clear that there could be some expenses that if we wanted to go above and beyond that we would incur, you know, like a fancier uniform, for example.
Or have that rockin' R.
Maybe so.
Somewhere.
Maybe so, or some signage on the building. But that the basics would be covered by the Air Force. So we're excited, and we appreciate the support of the board.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think between physics and the JROTC program, we have every kid bookended. No matter what your interest is, we got you covered. All right, Dr. McDaniel, to the podium, please, if you don't mind, to tell us about some grants and programs that are wrapping up this year.
Yeah, we just wanted to share with you how many different things we have been able to do with the extra funding we have received by applying for a number of grants. Everyone, do you have the, okay. If you'll go ahead to the second slide. All of these grants were competitive grants except for one, and that was the All In Virginia initiative. That one, every school division got, and it went over 3 years, which we've been able to do a lot of things with. But I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of an update because the rest of these were competitive grants that we had to apply for and qualify for and, you know, do all the paperwork and all that kind of thing. So I just wanted to share some of the things that we've done. First, we had an innovation grant. That one was a little bit of a carryover from a previous year, and we started our year with a guest speaker and a conference event for all of our staff, all of our instructional staff, and we had a full day PD session. It felt like a real conference. We met at Radford University, and they partnered with us, and we invited some of the education students to attend, so we got the location for free to use. We were able to feed everyone breakfast and lunch that day with our grant money. And it really kicked off the year with a feeling of togetherness and a conference, and just really it was a great time. So the next slide is just a few pictures from that day. The title was Tech Like a Pirate. and that was a book that our guest speaker wrote. Everyone got a copy of that book, but it was really about innovation, and one of the goals there was exhibitions of learning and student exhibitions of learning, which I'll come to in another grant program as we go along through the pictures and information. So that was one, and I can't remember the total on that grant because it was over several years. This micro grant was one that we started also last school year, and we went through the feed program, monthly meetings that were parent informational sessions where we fed them, had childcare and all that sort of thing, and it also helped pay for our tailgate at the beginning of the year, which we kicked off with a bang this year too. Some of the funding for that, it was divided into two pots, Title I and the Department of Behavioral Health Services. And so we were able to, if you'll go ahead to the next slide, that's some pictures from our tailgate event. I just put a few of them in there. And we, I'll come back to that because we are going to be able to do that again with a different grant funding program. So the next slide was advancing computer science education. We had applied for this one the previous year too. It was a little over $70,000, and over the 2 years, a few of the things that we did, we had our sixth graders do a computer science camp at RU. We paid for Seesaw subscriptions for McCarg. We bought 25 iPads and cases. We bought poster printers for each of our schools, and tablets and cases for teachers, and they were tablets they could use to run their Promethean boards in their classroom so they could be all around the room and still they can write on them and just show math problems and things like that where the students can see them but still be able to have that proximity to students as they're teaching, but still use the projector. We sent some teachers to the VISTI conference. We bought Lego and Vex Go kits and some PLTW supplies. And one of the big things that the teachers, we also paid teachers to work on computer science integration plans, and that's linked in the presentation. But they spent a lot of time tying in computer science standards to our grade level content standards. So they were cross-curricular lessons. And just because it says computer science doesn't mean the kids were on computers at all, because a lot of what they teach are just the language of computer science. Like an algorithm can be incorporated into teaching math and patterns and things like that. So that's what a lot of the lessons were. The teachers reviewed their standards and they said, how can we embed this in and use this language so the students learn that? And along the way, they're also teaching some of that digital literacy. So anything to add about that? Miss Lane was one of the DEN leaders for, we had DEN leaders from both schools at Bell Heath and McCarg, and she led the one at Bell Heath, and then Jenny Church led the one at McCarg, and they had grade level teachers, and we had a couple from middle school that helped too. And they met monthly and were paid for their time to get together and create these lessons and everything. So they did a lot of work through that. So a large part of the program also paid for those stipends for those teachers. Okay. The next one that we've gotten in the last couple of years, last year it was $5,000. This school year we got $10,000. When I met with them to do our review at the end of the year, they said, well, we're just going to go ahead and give it to you again. And by the way, we're going to double it. I was like, okay, great. So that helped pay for training for teachers, a lot of materials for our Project Lead the Way classes. And we did have one new teacher at the high school who got to go through training, and all of that was paid for through this grant. Okay, the next one is the K-12 School Innovation Programs. And this one also had two parts. We actually completed two almost completely separate applications, but they were combined into one grant for a total of $50,000. $29,500 went to the Bridge to Excellence, and $21,500 went to our Radford Rising program. So if you'll go to the next slide, I've kind of got them in two different categories. So for Bridge to Excellence, we were able to use that grant money, and this part was shared with Pulaski County. So, the program we just honored at the beginning of the program tonight. So Mr. Arnold and Ms. Mosby helped to create that budget so that we bought industry-related work gear for our students, like hard hats, steel-toed boots. The healthcare students got medical kits and stethoscopes and different things like that. The shirts and sweatshirts and all that swag that we bought for them was paid for out of this grant money. We also paid credentialing fees to New River Community College for part of that program, some professional development. We used it for marketing and outreach, and then, of course, instructional materials and some food for the students along the way, because most of the time our manufacturing partners paid for their lunch when they were there, but there were a few times for the healthcare where we provided the food for the students to make sure they got fed on the days that they visited. And then, of course, if you were at our Radford Rising, an exhibition of innovation and student learning, when we first applied for this grant, the vision was to have every school do some sort of exhibition of learning. But we found out, we applied in May, we didn't find out we got the grant until really late in the fall. So some of the things that we had in the proposal we didn't get to do because I was going to do professional development over the summer for the elementary teachers and that kind of thing too. And that was incorporated in our beginning of the year plan anyway. But it was just also, by the time we got it, they had already done their big community events and that kind of thing at the elementary schools, and it just seemed like too much to ask. So kind of pivoted that plan and went to Miss Mosby and I said, can we bring in CTE? And then we pulled in our history department, our fine arts departments, and all of those people. And a lot of the money we spent to buy their materials, and they got to buy a lot of things they normally wouldn't be able to afford to buy, like some of the flowers that they were able to do for the flower arrangements that they were making. That they got little bit fancier stuff than they normally would get, and some of the metal, and we bought pottery wheels so they'd have extra, and a lot of materials for the presentations. And then we were able to pay the teachers to be there that night to incentivize them to participate. So we hope that this will become a yearly event from here on, and I want to spread it to the other schools too. We want to see all of our students get a night to shine like that and show off their work and their learning. So there's a few pictures of that. A lot of you were there. You'll see Mr. Dobbins over there pretending he's a DJ or something. So, yeah, that night was a lot of fun. I know most of you were able to be there, and like I said, I really hope that this will become a yearly event for us. And then our next slide, our All in Virginia initiative, which was over a 3-year period, $1.9 million total that we've spent over 3 years. It has done a lot for tutoring. There are 4 different pots or categories that you could spend the money. The majority of it went into tutoring and learning acceleration. The second category was for implementation of the Virginia Literacy Act. The third category was for attendance, recovery, and addressing chronic absenteeism. And the fourth was for additional operating and infrastructure expenditures. So I'm broken it down into each of those categories to give you an idea of some of the things that we spent the money on. So the next slide is for tutoring and learning. Of course, we pay teachers for after-school tutoring. And we also paid them to complete some required training that they did outside of their contract hours. And we had math paraprofessionals during this time period. We were able to add a math instructional coach for this past school year. We sent a lot of teachers to professional development conferences, even more than we typically would have, the money to do, because we were able to use some of this funding for that. We have purchased so many instructional materials. It's, I think the teachers have just been like, can we have this? And when we said, yes, they were like, really? So a lot of extra instructional materials that we were able to purchase. We bought a lot of hands-on manipulatives for math classes and things like that. We bought globes, updated globes for our history classrooms that they hadn't had for a long time. And then we've been buying document cameras that attach again to their screens so they can display and show things and show handwriting and on the big screen so that students can see it from anywhere in the classroom. We had some of those that were purchased with some of the COVID funds, but a lot of them have, lived their life and need to be replaced. So we are purchasing those. We actually bought 2 new buses with this money. We were able to add those under the category of tutoring because as you know, we are limited in the number of buses that we have. So if a bus needs to be out for a sporting event or something like that, it makes it harder to provide that transportation for tutoring after school and that kind of thing, or even a special field trip or whatever. So we were able to purchase buses along the lines for helping us provide the transportation for after school tutoring programs. And then of course we funded our Bobcat book bus for last year and this year. And we've even purchased enough books that we're storing some to hopefully fund it for a while. We're still using books we purchased last year because we were able to buy enough. And this year we're adding a Mathmobile. So along with the book bus, we're going to have a Mathmobile, and we have math games and fun math activity books for older students and fun math games. Mr. Howard's daughter got to be our test student, and she approved, their kid approved. She really enjoyed playing the games. Secretly, I think he did too. So this year, our book bus and Mathmobile is scheduled for July 13th. Our rain date is the 15th. I do have some flyers that I printed that show that, so I'll give those to you guys to have and share with anyone you want to share it with. Okay, so that's just so much fun. The next thing was VLA implementation. We were able to add a reading specialist for Dalton Intermediate School with the funding we had. We paid teachers for VLA implementation training and again, more professional development. And we did a book study with all of our teachers of reading called There's Research for That. And the authors of that book came in, and they were here multiple times during the year. How many times were they here? 3. And they met with our teachers. They went over their data with them, and they gave them personalized professional development by grade level, and they met with them during PLCs. And so it was very effective. I think the teachers really appreciated that. And then if we have a vehicle on lot, we can go pick them up, which added to our fleet as well. And then under operating and infrastructure, we purchased the Power School Enrollment Program, which is an online registration for all schools, so that we could be more consistent, and it kind of helps with that parent communication piece and sharing that information back and forth. And last but not least, we also have the Community Schools Grant, which it runs through September. And of course, it's paid for night school, night community school. We were a community hub. We got that designation this year for Radford City Schools as being a community hub. And it paid for like the teachers to be here for night school and the coordinator, some community events. It's helping pay for summer school this year. And it's going to pay for our tailgate event in the fall. And for a couple of things that we're going to plan for convocation as well. And we are hoping that many of these grants come available again, and we will do our best to apply for as many as we think we can get. And so we can continue these programs. A lot of them haven't come out yet because they're dependent on the state budget being passed. So they're probably all going to come out at one time, so I'm going to be locked up in my office writing grant proposals, I think, in July. But any questions or comments or anything?
It seems like you thought it out and used every penny to the best advantage.
Oh, and God bless Cindy Blankenship. Yes. Because we talk multiple times a day to work on grants, and with all the other people helping manage these grants, she's been a humongous help. Because she helps to manage all the finances and keeps us straight and lets me know, okay, how much money do I have left? So.
It's just remarkable work what goes on in Dr. McDaniel's office with her team. the money that they're able to secure for this division without tapping into, frankly, taxpayer money. It's just remarkable. And the things we do here with that money, the way we can stretch it and make it work to the best of our ability is truly, it's a miracle really is what it is, because we can offer so many things to these kids. So thank you for your hard work.
Brian and I were having a conversation about grants today, and I said, the general public has no idea what we are able to provide that is above and beyond the funding we get from the state or the locality. And people have no idea.
It's because of the hard work that goes into writing a grant and then spending the grant properly. Otherwise you get your hand slapped and you really put yourself at a disadvantage next time if you don't spend it properly and show the paperwork and go through all the steps.
I think it's also indicative of the management and the resource allocations that we have, the proper use, to your point. Whenever Grumman comes in and says, oh, by the way, yes, we're already doing this again next year and we're going to double it.
That's amazing.
Well, that's a direct reflection of
really
how
is.
we managed that grant.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
And the relationships you build with your funders.
Oh, sure. Yep.
That goes a long way too.
Yep. We're so thankful for the businesses that contribute to the funding. All right. Darlene Lane, if you don't mind, can you join us at the podium for a very early look at our state assessment results?
Yes, this is very early, very preliminary. I think Stacy's going to pull up the Google Deck for you. But first of all, I just want to give some shout outs because, one, we had a very successful testing season. I call a successful testing season no irregularities where we have to report things to the state. We only had one, and that was a child that got sick in the middle of a test, and we cannot control that. So that was all the irregularities that we have for this year that were here within our schools in the city. We did have a few more than that in the virtual school. But I want to give shout outs to our wonderful school testing coordinators. You'll see on the next slide, I have their names listed because they give so much of their time. They have to stay hours after school and just to find time to do all the things that they have to do to manage the testing within their buildings. That's Jenny Zenius at Bell Heath. Brandy Ray has been at Dalton, and Candace Davis at the high school. And Candace is still doing that job with summer school testing. They hosted a total of 969 test sessions. That is whole group, small group, and individuals. So that is huge. And I just put these numbers up here because I think it's impactful for us to realize all that they're managing. And the sessions included, look at how many tests at each building. And that was a total of 2,487 tests. So that is amazing. All the tests that they make sure happen and happen correctly. And also a big shout out to our testing examiners, proctors, and administrators, because we couldn't do it without everybody in the building pitching in and helping give these tests. So some very preliminary data, and I put last year's up here just so we'd have a little thing to compare it to. But this is only going to change and probably improve as things happen, because this is not from the state. This is from our work and the work of the CIP. So you can see how many tests were given, and you can see, I'm not going to read them all to you, but you can see that, Bell Heath improved in reading and math, and we're about the same in science, 5th grade science. You can see we gave less tests this year, in science, and that has to do with the number of students that you have. Okay, and then we have Dalton is next, and they maintained about the same in all their areas that they did the previous year. In history, they did come up just a little bit in history, so that's very good. At the high school, we maintained our numbers pretty well there. I did want to point out, this is fall and spring combined, because they did do SOLs in the fall as well. And history, you'll see there were 104 tests. The reason let me explain a little bit about history at the high school. So in the fall, if you were taking a history class and needed the SOL for your verified credit, you took the SOL. In the spring, we have another option, and we have what's now called performance-based assessments, local alternative assessments. It's a balanced assessment approach where you have some formative assessments that you give your students, but you also have a lot of performance-based, like project type assessments that you're giving them on the standards. And then we have rubrics that the state has provided that we have to put this through. And then we had teams of teachers that would evaluate the formative as well as the performance-based assessments and determine if it was a passing or a failing. And I did not put those numbers up here. I can get those for us later, but we do not report those to the state. And this goes along with a new bill that's coming, that has come from the state, saying that we are allowed to do this for our history courses. We've been doing it at Bell Heath for a while in our 4th grade for Virginia Studies because we are a school division of innovation, and that was something that we were able to do. But now because of the new bill, we'll be able to do it on all of our history subjects, which really is great because it lets the students really get hands-on. And that's why when they had the it wasn't Bridge to Excellence, it was at Radford Rising, they had some history projects there, and those were part of what they were just created for that performance-based assessment. And then I did include Radford Virtual School because we do manage their testing, and we are part of our accountability comes from them. So you can see their scores there, the number of tests that were administered there. And so they did come up a little bit in their science. So overall, it stayed pretty much the same as last year with some areas of improvement. And on the last slide, it's a stay tuned because accountability will be calculated once the state makes some determinations about growth. Last year, growth was based on something called VIVAS, but the state no longer is funding VIVAS, so now they had to come up with a different way to measure growth of students, individual students, and so they have something that they will be voting on in June. Those are growth charts, vertical scale charts. I've already started looking at those, and if we get to use if they vote that's what we're going to use, they're going to be really helpful for us. So once all those things are finalized, the state will give us our accountability scores through mastery. So do you have any questions?
Have we finished expedited retakes?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the high school, of course, is doing summer school.
Okay.
And that includes a little bit of that, but of course they're doing a lot of remediation and everything to get those verified credits. So they will be doing some testing in the summer window. The summer window just opened yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much.
I really want to thank Ms. Lane and her team for putting together another successful testing session, which is very rigorous. It's very demanding. The state takes it very serious, as they should, and they pass along that sense of urgency to our division directors of testing, and Ms. Lane takes that, and her team take that on 100%, and they do a great job. So thank you very much. So back to attendance quickly. Building and division leadership has discovered throughout the last few years a need to re-examine parts of the regulation of policy JEA-JED so that attendance issues are addressed and services provided well before the students and families find themselves appearing before the truancy board. So along the continuum of attendance, there's the contact, the letter, truancy board, and so forth, until finally you end up before a judge. What we discovered was that students and families were rightfully so under the impression that 10 of their days out were sort of gimmies or freebies, because all the family has to do is call in and say, Junior's not going to be there today, I'm aware of it, he's with me, or whatever, and that goes down as one of the 10 absences. We really don't even count them excused or unexcused. They're just absent. So at the end of the 10 days, suddenly you are so far along the continuum that you find yourself right up against the next step. And then if something were to happen, or you took ill, you're 2-3 days up to 13 now if you've used up your 10. And then all of a sudden you're getting phone calls from Ms. Wright to encourage you to pay close attention to your attendance, or else, the next step is triggered. So what we decided as a team, and everyone was there, all the assistant principals, the principals, and front office staff, which is usually our front line of communication for attendance issues, that 10 was just too many. 10 found us way down the list, or the line, it was almost too late. So we have tightened that regulation up to, say, 8 days of a parent call in. Now, if the parent doesn't call in, we contact the parent and it triggers all sorts of responses. But generally, the parent would make contact with the school and say, he's or she's with me and everything's fine, we'll see you tomorrow. So we've decided to tighten that up to say 8 days, so that if you were to use your 8 days for whatever reason, they're not really categorized. At the end of those 8 days, you are not so far down the line that you can't recover. I've seen it in other divisions. It just makes perfect sense to instill in the families that 10 freebies, and I don't even like to use that word, paid time off, is too many. So 8 makes more sense at this point. Not even sure I'm happy with 8, but we'll call it a committee. The group last week decided that was a great place to start. So what I would like to see happen in this regulation is that we change it from 8 days parent contact to from 10 to 8. This is a regulation, not necessarily something you guys need to act on, but I of course wanted to make you aware, and also put it out in our open session that this was something that was going to be changed. Our principals know their marching orders now is to make that clear to the families early and often, so that we can together get a better grip on the days that you are missing. This goes right along with what Ms. Wright presented earlier tonight, and that is these families and kids are doing a great job, a much better job, as you see the line graph trend upward, and we just want to keep that momentum up. Still, with 8 days, your family, your mom, dad, or whomever calls in, says they're with me, everything's good, we'll see you tomorrow, but now instead of 10, it's 8. So that when you are sick and you miss 3 days, suddenly you're now at 11 and you're manageable instead of 13. And I'm happy to answer questions. A lot of the folks that were in that meeting are with us tonight, but I think it's clear we all agreed that it was time to tighten up.
I would just say, from my own perspective, and we celebrated those students with perfect attendance tonight, and I think what a beneficial time to do that, to instill that understanding. And again, if we think about our students and our educators who are on a block schedule, in essence, even at 8 days, you're talking about 16 essential days of functional educational time.
Yes,
right, seat
that's
time.
huge, yeah.
If you wait till 10, you're talking about keeping a student out of educational period for a month.
Right.
Actually, a little over that, frankly, if we look at the actual days. And I agree. I think is it going to create some conversation? Sure.
I hope so.
But again, it's a matter of, we're looking at what's best for every student all the time, and that is to have the students, their backpacks in the seats, through receiving the exceptional education that we offer in the city. We can't do that if you're not here.
Right.
So just, I appreciate it. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. Dr. McDaniel, would you please fill us in on the latest initiative that you are proud of, I'm proud of,
Yeah.
with our RU Mobile Health Clinic?
So, Daniel Hill and I both participate in the Radford Youth Adult Partnership Consortium, I guess you could say, of a lot of different entities that come together and just work together. The police department is part of that, Department of Social Services, NRVCS, and a lot of different entities, but RU has been coming, several different programs from RU have been coming, but one is from their nursing department, and they've written a grant for a mobile health clinic, excuse me, that they're going to start for our community. And the police department's pretty excited about this happening too, just for access to health care, and everything will be free. They would like to also have the school system as a partner, and so they've asked us to sign this memorandum of agreement. But basically what it's going to be for us is help with screenings and that type of thing. Also, eventually, they will have a nurse practitioner there and student nurses that are supervised. But absolutely nothing they do will be without parent permission. They will not see a single student without parent permission. And they're even going to set up a program if a student needs some sort of acute care that the parent can be brought in virtually. So if access for transportation or something like that is a problem, the parent can still participate in, they could even come there if they wanted to, but if they need to, ask a question or get permission for anything else, all they'll have permission for is just to see them to start with. And but mostly they just wanted to be able to be there to help with screenings and sports physicals. They'd like to set up a clinic in July to help with sports physicals for access for more students. Ms. Hutchins did share that she had done this in another locality, and they had a drastic increase in the number of students that were able to participate in sports. I think it was Franklin County, and she said they actually had to add coaches because they added to their sports teams so much because more students were able to participate because they got the physical. Because VHSL rules are that you can't even practice until you've had that physical. And of course we require physical before starting school for the first time, or if you've transferred in from out of state, so they can also help us with those. Again, parent permission has to be received for all of that. They would like to set up their mobile clinic or mobile unit to let people see it at the tailgate event and maybe open house and some other things just to be a little bit visible. There's also a proposal for a health initiative for rising fourth graders that she applied for a grant and just found out she got that to encourage healthy habits. So they want to help them track their exercise and their eating and things like that, and just promote healthy habits. But the parents will be involved in that too. The parents are going to participate as well with helping their students log their food and exercise, and they're going to provide some incentives and things like that. So we wanted to run all that by you and see if you have any questions about any of that. And of course, we will get to decide, what they're going to do with us too, as far as any, like our physicals and things like that, if they help with screenings for hearing or whatever. I had Miss Weston, she's our lead nurse, meet with her too to make sure that, she, was on board with everything and it aligned with all of our health goals and that kind of thing with the school system as well.
I think this goes hand in hand with attendance, quite frankly. The easier it is to access health care, the more likely you are to be in school.
Mm-hmm. And they have had some, like acute services, if a student comes in, maybe they need to be tested for strep or something like that, they can, eventually they'll be able to do some of those things. They'll probably only be around maybe one day a week after it gets established, and they're going to slow roll this and start with just kind of the sports physicals and the school physicals and that kind of thing first.
That was my question. What would be the frequency of their visits?
Mm-hmm.
So
eventually once a week, and we're not sure if that's just going to be one school, and then we can, if we needed to bring a student over from another school or something and get permission, or if they're going to be able to be at other schools. We're working all of that out. The first is just getting permission for them to even be on our campus.
And is there only one mobile
Yes.
unit? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because are they going to are they going to go into other school districts as well?
I don't think they're going to go into other schools, but they're going to be in other locations around the city. They're in the
Okay, within the
process.
city,
Mhm,
okay.
they're in the process of trying to get another MOA signed with the city as well.
Okay.
because they talked about maybe setting up at the library occasionally, and they may partner with the health department to also do vaccines and that kind of thing, to make it the access easier for parents. And we did discuss, there are certain immunizations that are required at certain ages for our students too, that perhaps they could eventually partner with the health department and provide those to make it easier for families at a one-stop location for that.
We literally, every August, have kids that are lined up at the door, so to speak, because they just don't have a certain immunization. They can't come to school. They can't come in the school. So this might help us alleviate some of those issues with travel to the doctor's office or time, things like that. These families could take advantage of this mobile unit to take care of those immunizations.
Yeah, I think it kind of came out. There was a survey that they did. It collected a lot of data around healthcare access. A lot of it was mental health too, but I think they're going to be more in the healthcare realm of things. But access to healthcare has been a problem for students.
And who's the RU person?
Her name is Amanda Hudgens. She is director of the nursing programs at Radford University. She's a nurse practitioner, and like I said, everything would be supervised by a nurse practitioner, but it gives their students also an opportunity to learn in a real life situation. So it's also educational. So it ties right into our goals and everything we do here.
One day you may visit the mobile clinic, and the next day you might work in it. Right across the street. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'd like to thank J.C. Hamilton for helping me decipher all 150 pages of the policy changes that you guys have had all weekend, I'm sure, to enjoy.
Can we have another month?
Well, actually, you do have another month to approve them. There are just a few that I would like to call to your attention quickly. And this isn't meant, there's not a test at the end of this. I just want you to know that there are some things that are going to affect us more directly than others. One of those would be the digital accessibility. Blenda Patterson has been working on this for several months. She's got our website almost, if not 100% compliant, she's right at the doorstep of 100% compliance with ADA accessibility for our website. So I want to thank Ms. Patterson for that. We already, school board member conflict of interest, we already fill out the financial disclosures at the beginning of each year, so that really has, we have that one covered. That's not a big worry. I just wanted to call it to your attention that it's out there. Threat assessment teams, if you're a new member of the threat assessment team at the school level or the building level, or the division level, you must be trained, and all members of the threat assessment team have to be re-upped every 3 years. Use of school buses, who can we allow to use the school buses and who we cannot? Those are mostly other government entities and a few third-party logistics folks. So it's very limited as to who we are allowed to use our school buses, which I appreciate. There's a food service policy update that at the moment does not apply to us because we are CEP eligible, which means all of our kids eat at no charge until you go back to get a la carte, and then you have to pay. But that's not applicable, but in the years to come that could change. I don't want to give away too much, but CEP is getting harder and harder for us to qualify for, okay, which is a good thing.
Okay.
But this year we're good with CEP. Next year we'll re-examine it, okay? Acceptable computer use, Mr. Howard is always on top of that. I'm not worried about that. He's always out front on things like that. Child abuse and neglect reporting now includes all coaches. They are mandated reporters. Mr. Wade assures me that he has always delivered the message to his coaches that you are mandated reporters, whether it's in state code or not. So he feels very comfortable that we're taking care of that one. Some leave without pay changes. Ms. Long and I and Ms. Schul will be working on that to make sure that folks who are eligible to take leave without pay can do so, but that the system's not being abused. Okay? And there are obviously some parameters around that. Chapter 2. I would like to call to your attention policy IGAG, which talks about teaching about drugs, alcohol, tobacco, gambling, and electronic devices, which will now include, according to Virginia Code Section 22.1-206, screen time and time spent on electronic devices to required instruction. In other words, just as we teach about gambling and alcohol abuse and tobacco, we will now teach about the dangers of prolonged exposure to screens, which I feel like that schools and government in general are always the last to know. Parents and teachers have known for a long time that too much screen time is too much screen time, but now we have to teach it, which is fine. And you know, that goes directly towards our initiative about reducing screen time, or at least discerning between active and passive screen use in school, which you'll hear a lot more about coming up in the next few months. We also have student absences, excuses, and dismissals, as it were. This new provision allows for excused absences for military dependents in certain situations, which doesn't affect us very much, but also adds edits for clarity, and it removes language that is confusing. So, said no policy ever. But JED helps us to clarify absences, what's excused and what's not excused. One more is student cell phone and smart device possession and use. Of course, this has gotten a lot of attention in the last few years, starting with the Governor Youngkin's executive order, and now is in code. The use of electronics from bell to bell is now a mandatory prohibition. In other words, it is straight up against the law. You'll be happy to know that you have a law on your side now, right? So that was made additionally clear in this updated policy, that bell to bell means the first tardy bell to the first release from school bell, no electronic devices seen or heard, and no cell phones. So that's helpful to us. And by the way, I don't know if you caught Channel 7 tonight at 5, but we had a very flattering story on Channel 7 about how cell phone use is going at Radford City Schools. So if you can, when you get home tonight, catch that on the app. One policy has added new school training requirement for sickle cell disease, and Tammy Weston is on top of that for sure. And parental rights and responsibilities, that goes right along with a new program that Ms. Long and I have been studying with Mr. Dye, and that is a couple of parents in California were tired of getting, they were sort of required to download all these apps for their soccer team and their math teacher and their principal and all these things. They just kept downloading apps and getting notifications. So Parent Square was invented so that all of those folks can text the families with one app. So on your phone would say Parent Square, and you would get practice has been canceled, you would get report cards are going home tomorrow, you would get junior has a test tomorrow, you'd get all those things in one app. And so Ms. Long, as always, found us some money. Mr. Dye did all the legwork on this, and I think we are going to pull the trigger on Parent Square starting in August. Mr. Simpson has already alluded to the fact that he would like for all of his coaches to be on one app for communication. So this plays right into the high school's hands. And so the policy, while I ramble here, just says that added new notification requirements to pursuant to Senate Bill 109 says parents' right to receive notifications by email or text messages as far as registration deadlines and processes for changing courses. All that could be on Parent Square. Hey, here comes the class change deadline, report cards go home tomorrow, all the things. Last day of school is tomorrow, all those things would be through Parent Square. We do have Power School that we use for messaging right now, but Power School does not address all the things that Parent Square does. It's a race to the top in technology to see who can offer more for less. Right now, Parent Square is clearly the best choice. So we will drop parts of Power School, not our student information system, but parts of it, the messaging part, which will help us capture some money for Parent Square, which leads right into this new policy that we must follow.
I'm curious, but it might be a little early for the question, and if so, we'll table it for later. But with Parent Square, are we limited to a number of licenses with that we pay for? Or is it just for the district?
The division, yep.
Okay.
It's the division.
That brings me to a follow-up on that section. Is this something that we would consider consider or be willing to extend to our friends in the rec center for rec league ball? As we heard last night, you know, they're advocating that, you know, rec league sports are feeder programs for our district sports. Would we consider offering that as an olive branch to them to say, listen,
Jump
we have
on.
this opportunity, would you do so? Which brings me to my last question of, is this something that we could ensure is accessible to not just parents of students within the district and division, but even all employees? Because I know there's a
Sure.
lot of messaging that I get as a parent that some of my colleagues don't, and we make sure that we do share that. But you know, I think it'd be something if we can have one resource, one opportunity, one message coming from one locale, if we could extend that, you know, frankly, to not necessarily community notification, but in essence, you know, can we extend that to our friends at the rec center as well as to all of our people that need those messages? Because I think it is pertinent for scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
frankly, budgeting allocations, and just general being able to be available at an event.
Right.
We have one app we go to instead of, you know, check my text message, check my email, check my calendar, check my
Right.
home calendar, work calendar, school calendar, other school calendar. Do that once, just a thought.
That's a great idea, and I'm happy to look into that possibility. Sure. Thank you. There is one optional policy that I'd like to bring to your attention. That is GB, and that provides that the school board will make available to any school division employee a wearable panic alarm. I would like to ask for some time with that because it's my understanding that we've had that here at this division in the past, and it went well in some areas, and some of you folks that have been here longer than me, okay, Ms. Lane's already shaking me off. I called the pitch that she didn't like, and it didn't go well, is the short answer. So we want to make sure that we are deliberate in consideration of this wearable panic button. I think my definition of panic might be different than yours. So that was a hard learning curve because some people were abusing it. I'll just go ahead and say it that way. And so it's an option. The state law does not require that we have our folks outfitted with wearable panic buttons. It is an option, but I want us to seriously consider the past experiences before we move forward. So that's it in a nutshell. In July, I've heard horror stories. So in July, we will adopt these policies if you so choose. Okay? Questions about this? The hardbound version will be available soon. Mr. Howard, let's jump to enrollment, please. This will be the last enrollment report for 25-26. 1603, you know, I'm 3 above that magic number, which I very much like. Virtual students at 477 for a total of 3080. Student incident report. If you want to, you can just jump to that hyperlink. Thank you. McCarg, month over month, had a spike. Must be, where's Mr. Keats? We had spring fever, I'm assuming? A little busy. Okay. Okay. We can, you've turned in really good numbers all year. We'll let you slide on that one. Bell Heath is right there in the sweet spot between last year and last month. Thank you, Miss Z. I know that is your wheelhouse. No, you're good. Mr. Freeman isn't here to take credit for a really reasonable number for the month of May. And the high school also turned in some really good numbers for May.
I don't believe that's accurate. I think it's more like 6. We updated some after this.
Okay.
Just
Okay. Well, then shame on you.
Did that, we'd have never known.
claim 2.
For 6, it's shame on you.
Double points for the integrity to say.
Okay.
It looks great, but.
You get extra credit for that. All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Grimm, would you mind coming up and giving us really brief updates? I know it's hard to be brief because Mr. Grimm won't even come see me anymore because when he does, I ask him to do something.
Oh, I woke up thinking about, do we have money for that? No.
Literally this morning I woke up and texted him, do we have money for this? And
Actually, that's a Carrie question. So can you
Yeah.
make that happen? And I said,
Right.
yes, but not in
Yeah.
your time frame. Good evening. So it's been 9 days since school went out, and I need a day off. Let's see. Facilities assessments are still taking place. We are actually finishing up with the ZMM. They're getting more access to our buildings to come in and take care of things while we have kind of slowed down with the mass number of students that we typically have. We hope to have that report by the next board meeting. Crossing my fingers there. We did ask them or contract with them to have that completed by June 30th. We are also working with Precision Infrastructure Management, which is doing the ADA assessments. They've moved into Bell Heath and into McCarg to complete those reviews for us. We had the technician on site the last 2 days. He finished up this afternoon, and we'll be working on that. Hindsight tells me we'll probably get that back mid-August, just because it is a lengthy report that they typically write up. And it's one person who does that work as opposed to ZMM, which is an entire large company. I can't even read my own notes because the writing's too small. JROTC building, we will be moving forward to get some renovations there done, also referred to sometimes as the Armory. Depending on who you're talking to, and since the boss is right there, I'll call it his new name. We got in touch with Extreme to do some state contracting to get some renovations. I wouldn't call them renovations, but just to change accessibility within the buildings so we have clear locker rooms for the gentlemen and the ladies, so those spaces are very secure and they're not being asked to use dual purpose areas, which is kind of nice. That really provides a benefit to wrestling. JROTC could function without those areas, and then we're expanding some of the storage space for wrestling too, as we try to give everything that JROTC needs to function. So we're excited about that. Should have those pieces in place by the first day of school. Lots of pavement work. I think it's been a long time since the division saw any paving equipment. We hope to be able to have the student lot redone by June 30th. We were actually out there today removing some timbers that I think fell off the arc. That were actually going around all the way around that student lot. We'll be putting parking barriers back up in place of those, so any student drivers don't actually go off the edge into Walker Street. They'll at least have to drive over one of those first. We've had benefit of having access to a skid steer the last 10 days. Anything that could have been moved and needed to be moved has been moved, which is phenomenal. You probably have seen us tooling around the city in it, just because it's so large that we don't have a trailer big enough, and so we actually had the rental company drop it off, and we've been driving around with flashing lights behind it to make sure that nobody drives into us. That has been a blessing. We did beg for one to actually own, for the next time we get a little bit of ice, we could get it removed ourselves. But this is just as good, and so we should have that about another week. With that, we have filled 3 60-yard dumpsters, or 40-yard dumpsters so far. Most of that's coming from that wood from the arc. Some playground equipment up at Bell Heath. We've had this thing everywhere. We've already put down 23 tons of gravel in certain areas where we didn't need it before. So it allows some strong arms without breaking any backs, is really what's been nice. So that's been helpful. And the maintenance guys have had a lot of fun with it, I won't lie. It's a good thing we have a fighter pilot who actually uses those 2 joysticks. That's not a lie. I'm not exaggerating. We did change custodial structure on June 1st. So we had some custodians as leads change buildings that they were working in. This is a piece that you adopted or approved last month. Been a lot of good feedback coming from the custodians as well as the lead custodians. They have hit the ground running. I think we have great fits and teams in place. We'll probably still have a little bit of movement taking place just to make people comfortable. And then as we have some folks out long term, we just need to make sure we have enough coverage in each of the buildings. But that has been very rewarding to see and get some of the feedback as we try to put a little more structure in place for our custodians, to provide them people to speak with and provide the lead and model everything we're asking of them, because they have a very difficult job to do in about 60 days. over the next 60 days. Let's see, food and nutrition. Thank you for Carrie for finding all the money we needed to get all the things to replace some items. We have a walk-in freezer coming to Bell Heath. Bell Heath has a walk-in closet freezer. It's actually sort of, you kind of step in it, turn around, oops, and then come back out. There's a table there. We have an additional walk-in freezer coming to Bell Heath, which will be on the loading dock. It's a very large loading dock, so this fits just fine. But we do need to change some of the access to the dumpster back there for custodians and the rest of the staff. So Extreme is going to help us out with that piece again. But it'll actually make everything they have much more functional and be able to store a full load of menu items for several weeks as opposed to needing a truck each week. They can actually plan out a little bit better what's going on. Some upgrades to the kitchen at the high school, new ovens, new warmers, new steamer, actually a combi oven, and some refrigerator access there. They are landlocked, so we did not get a walk-in refrigerator cooler for them, but we're able to upgrade some other pieces. So that's been phenomenal. Summer feeding programs going on. Several of you may have seen Lisa Thomas on the news 2 weeks ago speaking about that, maybe 3 weeks ago. And trying to go quickly here, what else do we have? Transportation-wise, we do have 3 buses coming this month, maybe 2 of them as early as this week. Thank you for those. They'll be shiny and yellow. We're so excited. We will get the cameras and radios installed in those as well too, so that should not be a big concern. We have a CDL training coming up that starts next week. Everybody in the division has been invited to attend that. We currently have 7 individuals who will be training for that. We did extend that one back out to the city again and had 2 of their folks jump on board for that, which means they can drive snowplows. So that's good for us. Because it's actually easier to drive a snowplow than it is a school bus, just for the record. And what else do we have? We have the COPS grant that actually opened today. We can apply for up to $500,000. It opened at 4:30 today. That's due August 11th, and we will be looking at doing some rekeying at the high school. While we have the fob system that Stacy has set up is phenomenal. Most of our folks up there have to carry up massive keys. It takes a small wheelbarrow and bucket to kind of get everything around. So we need to do what we can, and that'll take care of some of the exterior doors as well. So it'll be a busy summer. It's been a good one already, so hopefully it'll keep that trend. Dr. Joyce, anything else?
No, sir. I'm excited about the student parking lot paving job because you can then recoup the expense through the, you let the kids paint their spot for about $1,000 a spot.
At least.
That would be great.
That'd be good.
That would be great.
Glad to hear you're excited about it.
I want to thank Mr. Grimm. That paving job was really, that's what kept me up most of the nights, was whether to do that or not, but he convinced me that it's not just the student lot, it's the football lot, it's the soccer lot, it's the graduation lot, and there are some holes in there that go clear to China. And those old telephone poles, while at the time were probably really cool looking, they've run their course. So we're going to remove those and just add the traditional curbing.
Oh, they're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
They're gone.
So, well,
We have skid steer. We're having fun and a chainsaw.
okay. All right. Well, that's
I love
troublesome.
my job. It was great.
I think the folks at the high school will be very happy with that, and we're going to reseal the back lot as well. So that'll be a lot better.
Lobby flooring.
The auditorium carpet and lobby flooring is brand new as well. We went with stain-resistant hardwood in the lobby and carpet back in the auditorium. Thank you, Mr. Grimm. A lot of hard work on his part and his team. All right, that's all I have.
Okay. Lulled me to sleep. Reports of board members.
Why does everybody look at me?
Somebody has to be first.
I will go first. I just want to give everybody an update on and this is a long title, so it's the Lunch Pail Defense Foundation Win-Win Raffle for Radford Ace. That is the name because
Nice.
of the sponsorship that
Sure.
we got, so that is the new name. We have kind of revamped it. We're no longer doing ticket sales through the QR code. The QR code will now just be donation only. And so we're actually not going to be using the Radford City Partners for Excellence Foundation for that. That donation only will just go straight to New River Community College's ACE page, and you just do a drop down to Radford ACE, and that donation will just go straight there. So we appreciate Radford City Schools Partner for Excellence Foundation for being willing to help us and helping us this far, because we have collected some money there, so we're going to be moving that over, and we just appreciate all that they've done. So from now on, in order to get into the raffle, you have to buy a $10 ticket, and those ticket sales will be at all kinds of functions that we have. And I was hoping to talk to you guys because we are going to try to sell tickets at the July 3rd celebration that we're going to be able to have. And so we like to have an adult there when the students are getting the money, because it's quite complicated. We have to keep up with exactly who has what number tickets, and then get the whatever's not sold back. We have to account for every ticket, so it's very complicated. But we've got a system now, and so we're hoping that maybe you guys or somebody would be able to volunteer their time to help at those functions. Yeah, because we're going to be at the July 3rd, and we're going to be at of course all the functions that we have, and we're going to be at the what is it, the Mary Draper's Draper Ingalls, yeah,
July
6th through the 28th or something. Yeah. So we're hoping that people will be able to help then, and of course the community fest. So you'll have to get tickets. Really excited, and I think this is going to go well, and I just appreciate you guys listening to the update. Thanks.
I just want to say it's always a pleasure to be at the high school graduation. This year was no exception. It was absolutely phenomenal. It really is the reward for me personally. It's the reward for all the late nights, early mornings, long days, emails, text messages, phone calls, conversations, and everything that we all do, But it is the reward to see the students so excited and the family so excited to celebrate with you all and be a small part of that. It's an honor. Also had the opportunity to do the same with New River Community College, as has been a tradition for me. Again, it's a pleasure to go up there and see our students, our Bobcats, who are dual enrolled as well as who have gone on to attend college up there to continue their education, to see them walk across the stage and the joy and the pride they take in doing so. If you've skipped out on those ceremonies, folks, you're missing the party at the end of Christmas. It really is. It's the great part of it. So it was a pleasure and an honor to be a representative of Radford City Public Schools at those events. So thank you all for that.
Okay. Well, today I attended a webinar on using math materials in classrooms and how to select them. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I've heard this before. I've heard this before. I've heard this before. But they did make some points, and I'd like to send you the link to a video that they showed. And this was put on by the National School Board Association. So it talked about research projects that are going on. One was in Tennessee and Washington, D.C., and really making your curriculum choices. This was about math, but could be applied to any topic area, about making sure, okay, this is what we're teaching in the core classroom. And then we buy all these supplemental materials. Do they actually help with what's in the core? Is there a match? Is there coherence in wait a minute. Alignment? Wait a minute. The term they used over and over instructional coherence. Instructional coherence.
Nice.
And there were these experts in different areas speaking about the research and what they had found, and if you go to fourth grade teachers, an example, 2 fourth grade teachers teaching math out of the same book, the same lesson, and they teach it the same way, and then they offer supplemental stuff in another, they go to a tutor, or they go to, does that material match what they did in the classroom to provide that continuity for the student to say, oh, I apply it here, I apply it here, I apply it here. No, I mean, there could be variations, but you gotta have that underlying foundation. That part I didn't know about in our system. The other stuff they mentioned, I could sit there and go, but I'll email you that stuff, and you can share it with whomever needs to look at it.
Okay.
And
You
that's all
done?
I've done.
Okay.
Yeah. that's all
Okay,
I've done.
well, that was plenty. That was plenty. I want to pitch an idea to everybody. We approved a $1,500 bonus for our full-time SOQ and non-SOQ teachers upon returning, okay? And when I think about my time in the classroom, I know that anyone who touches the lives of children serves them, serves the teachers. A lot of those people are part-time, and but I know they're indispensable. We can't do without them. So I'm gonna ask. Well, first of all, talking with Ms. Long, she ran some numbers, and she found that we could offer a bonus of $750 to our part-time returning staff members, correct? And that would be people like homebound teachers. I knew you were, yeah. Our paraprofessionals and school nutrition staff who are part-time, the pianist who accompanies Mr. Goad, and the choir. We have a part-time speech pathologist. So, and those positions are very valuable, and we want those people to know that they're valuable to us. So how we would do that is if someone would make a motion to add this $750 bonus for our part-time returning staff to our action items.
So for just, and I'm obviously going to give you time to discuss, but we would have to amend the agenda to move that item to action
Yeah,
with a vote,
right,
and then we would vote on that action.
right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now if you
okay.
want to discuss Ms. Boyd's proposal, now's the time.
I personally would feel more
Comfortable, since it is, and first off, Gary, I trust you implicitly. I would feel more comfortable, since we are discussing a budgetary item, if we were to possibly add it to the next agenda. So certainly discuss it at this point in time, but unless it is a matter of timely efficiency or necessity, could we add this to the next agenda to present, or even, I guess, Carrie, I'll defer to you or to whomever, to make sure we stay within proper protocol of that. I'm supporting it. I think it's a good idea, but I want to make sure for full public transparency that since we are discussing a budgetary item, that it is not something that we just spring on everybody to say, here, we're spending this money. So is it something at a level that we would have to, and I'm sorry, dear, I don't mean to be focusing on you, I'm just looking for input.
It's your turn.
It's getting to you. Is it an item of budgetary level where we would have to do an initial presentation and then do an approval Or is it something we can do simply within one meeting?
I do believe you can do it within one meeting.
Okay.
And my biggest concern about delaying it to July is you
Sure.
gotta end the fiscal year.
Yeah.
Right.
Funding's here now.
Yeah.
Good point,
So
good
that
point.
would be,
And since of that, obviously as well, I just, I just want to make sure that we're staying within protocol and what is necessity and
Right,
required.
and there's, the number of part-time folks that we're talking about is maybe not as high as you might think.
Sure.
It's only about 21 or 2.
actually, when I looked at the number, earlier today, it's only like about 14.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not a tremendous, now,
Okay.
and just to make sure that everyone understands too, a bus driver, we consider full-time who's driving 5 hours.
Right.
So they're in their full-time group.
Right.
But you may have a cafeteria worker who works 4.75 hours. a day.
Right.
They're in the part-time group.
Right. And again, just to be clear, I'm in support of it, and I don't mind. I just want to make sure that we're staying within.
Well, we want to do it right.
Right.
We don't want to have to come back and change something.
I want to make sure someone's sitting at home, sitting there with a procedural manual, doesn't go, can't do this. You're
Right.
spending money without telling people. Perception's reality, and we want to make sure we stay within that, because I want the people that earn these stipends, these opportunities, recognize them certainly, but do so that it can be contested.
Would you feel good that we can vote on this tonight?
Yes, I think that,
Before the end of the fiscal year,
Yeah,
it seems to make sense to me.
yes.
Right.
Yep. That sort of forces our hand.
Yeah. Amanda, were you wanting to say something?
If we could do it tonight, I was gonna make the motion, but then I was trying to figure out the
Okay.
wording.
So
in
let's,
there, so-
well, we'll first
Well,
make the
it's-
motion.
To amend the
To
agenda.
amend the agenda, okay. Not the action items, but the agenda, okay.
Right. Well, you would make a motion to move your proposal to an action item.
All right,
After we did the.
You would need to amend the agenda
okay.
to add as an action item.
Okay,
I was
there
like,
you
wait, are
go.
we doing three
You got it.
steps?
You got both of them in there
So,
that way.
yeah.
Okay.
So let's do it this way, just to make things simple, because as the chair, it would be inappropriate for you to add an item into that.
Oh, I can.
I know.
No.
I'm being polite when I say it would be inappropriate. So how about we do this? Madam Chair, I would make a motion that we amend the agenda this evening to include an action item for the potential proposal, which will be, I'm sure, put forth by my colleague later at the appropriate time, to include we would say a stipend.
Bonus.
A
I don't-
bonus.
It was a bonus
for our
the other, for the
part-time
teachers,
employees as
personnel. Okay. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
We're good? Okay. All right, so we've had all of our reports. I'll
one-
just say,
You want to talk about the July meeting?
yeah,
Okay.
I was just about to. Our July retreat, it falls on the 14th. It's going to be at the Conery near Draper Mercantile.
What's it called?
The Conery.
It's It's like heaven on earth, really, is what it is.
It's historical for me. And that would be from 9, did you say, or 10?
10.
From 10, starting at 10 o'clock.
10 till
1-ish.
Whenever.
12:30, because then we would need to be back here.
and we have.
Oh, wait,
and
okay,
school board
so
meeting is
our regular meetings at 1?
That was the way we did last year. That seemed to.
Did we?
Mhm.
Gosh, I didn't remember.
We did one following the other.
Okay, okay.
That's
Okay,
right.
Gosh, I didn't, okay, that sounds good to me.
Jane was a speed demon.
All
I
right.
remember that.
12:30. 10 till 12:30, okay,
So the, if I may, Ms. Boyd,
please.
the 10 to 12:30 would be our summer retreat. It's obviously open to the public. We'll take care of just some business that's all open session. It's no closed session. It's more global issues that we could tackle in a more informal setting, but of course the public is invited to attend.
And then we meet back here.
And then we would come here for our regularly scheduled meeting
Okay.
that will include a closed session.
Okay. All right. So we're all on the same page now.
Does that work for everyone? And we will make that public tomorrow. Okay. Or actually, it's public tonight.
I was gonna say, I think it's public now.
I think it's already public.
It's
Okay.
public.
And then our school board meeting date for August 26th,
That falls
under
on,
action item.
yeah, that falls on the night before the first day of school. So I asked Mrs. Boyd to consider moving that date for you, and you guys can discuss that now.
Right, because that's just a really hectic time for everybody, parents, administrators,
Yeah, I
everybody.
remember
We did.
that.
Yep.
Okay. All right, and so move it, instead of the 11th, move it to the 18th.
We'll have a good idea how opening of school is progressing. We're on a winning streak right now. We've had really good opening weeks of school lately, so I don't expect this to be any different.
Does anybody have a conflict with doing that? No? All right. Then, can we have a motion? We need to make it an action item, right? Okay, is there a motion then to set the date for our August meeting on the 18th of August rather than the 11th? Change it to the 18th of August.
So moved.
In a second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, we have several grants here.
Yes, Ms. Cox, would you mind running us through the list of title grants that you have been diligently working on?
I would be delighted. Ms. Jordan and I have been working on the title grant applications for the 2026-2027 school year, and those are now completed, ready for your review and approval. And once the board approves the applications and Dr. Joyce and Mrs. Boyd sign them, then we're ready to submit them to the VDOE this month. So I'm going to talk to you about Title I, II, and IV. And I'll start with just a very quick overview and review because I think you've heard this a lot before. Title I supports schools with a high percentage of disadvantaged students to make sure that all of the students in those schools are receiving a high quality education. Title II supports effective teaching and student achievement. And Title IV, which is the one I talked to you about last month, can provide financial support in 3 different categories: well-rounded education, safe and healthy schools, and effective use of technology. But I talked to you last month about applying for the EdFlex waiver, which we did, so that gives us more flexibility, and instead of being required to spend money in all 3 categories, we're choosing to just spend in well-rounded education for Title IV this year, and I'll talk to you more about that in just a minute, and we're really excited about our new plan for Title IV for this year. Part of the grant application process is conducting a thorough needs assessment, which we have done this spring. In March, we had a needs assessment meeting with more than 20 people present. That included teachers from all 4 schools, parents, community members, and even several students. We also sent surveys to all McCarg and Bellheath parents and got 136 responses, which was pretty great. And through the survey and the needs assessment meeting, we saw that there was a strong preference to continue using most of the title funds for personnel, instructional supplies, and family events. And more specifically for the family events, the parents expressed preference to continue with really what we've been doing for the last several years, focusing on literacy, math, and STEM. And they love events that have activities for families to do together and or showcases of student work. A lot of parents expressed a need for more support for their students across content areas, and that they would like for their students to have increased access to enrichment activities, and that's what we'll come back to, especially with Title IV. Title I is our biggest of the title grants. The application is for about $430,000, and it is level funding from last year when we apply. And then in the fall, when the final allocation is released, we'll submit an amendment because we hope to get a little more money than that, but you just apply with the amount that you had the previous year. So the Title I funding supports McCarg and Bellheath as school-wide Title I schools, and it provides funding for personnel primarily, especially this year. It will continue to fund 3 reading specialists. It will pay for 5 literacy paraprofessionals and part of my salary. And if you were looking at this year's compared to the previous years. We had 4 literacy paraprofessionals in the 2025 grant and 5 in this one. We're not actually adding another person, but we are moving one of those positions from Title IV to Title I to free up Title IV money for something else. And we were able to do that because we still had some money left over in the 2025 grant for things like the parent-family engagement events and instructional materials. So we don't have a large amount in the 2026 grant for those things because we still have a significant amount of money to spend. For Title II, this year, the funds we're going to pay for salary and benefits for, part of the salary and benefits for our K-12 math instructional coach, and that does go along with the need that families suggested that they would like additional support for their children in math. And this math instructional coach does support the teachers so that they are well equipped to provide effective, engaging math instruction across the grade levels, and she does a whole lot more than that as well. Now, Title IV is the one I'm really excited about. And this all started at our needs assessment meeting back in March. Our middle school band director, George Saunders, was present at the meeting, and we were talking about the different title grants and what the programs could support. And when we were talking about well-rounded education as part of Title IV, he said, I sure wish there was some way that we could get private music lessons for our kids. A lot of them just don't have access to that. And we were like, well, actually, Title IV can't pay for things like that. So that's where this whole idea started. But it has grown and grown, because as we've talked to teachers and more families, and as 136 parents responded to a survey, there is indeed a need for access to enrichment activities for many kids and beyond just music lessons. But the content areas that you see on the sides of this slide are the areas that parents suggested the most that their kids would benefit from increased access to. So in addition to music lessons, they also see a need for more support for their kids with math problem solving. They would love for their kids to be part of a book club or to have opportunities to do fitness and dance, art lessons, STEM club, drama or theater and gardening, and many more ideas are possible. So how can we provide this to our kids? We are proposing an after-school enrichment program at Bell Heath. We'll probably call it Well-Rounded Bobcat, since it's coming from Title IV's Well-Rounded Education. And preliminary plans have it as 6 to 8 week sessions with activities that the families can sign their children up for. And it will not be the same activities every session necessarily. We'll base it on student and family interest that we'll gauge after each session as they fill out a survey, and also teacher availability. The Title IV funding will pay stipends for the teachers who lead these sessions, and will also provide the materials that the teachers need for these sessions. So we anticipate that this will not just increase student access to these enrichment activities, but also the students' engagement in school and their connectedness to their school. We think that will increase as well. And we also expect an academic boost as the kids are more engaged and they're just exposed to so many different areas. So we're really excited about that possibility. Do you have any questions about any of those grants?
The Title IV is very exciting.
We're really excited to be able to do something different. So it will be focused for Bell Heath students this year, but teachers from any of the schools are able to help and lead the activities that they are passionate about, and there's a lot of interest already. All right. Thank you very much.
Well, as someone who's filled out these title grants in the past, they are not shiny, they're not flashy, they're not much fun, but they are so important. So I appreciate the work that goes into that. My math is not great, but I figure about $520,000 that she is single-handedly responsible for applying for. So thank you very much, you and your teachers. Ms. Jordan.
Hi, Stacy, did you get my email? Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So I'm just going to talk quickly about Title III. Our numbers have grown. We're now at 38, which is, when I first started working here, it was 4. So it's come a long way. So as I show you every year, I think you know well about what Title III is. It's about providing services for English language multilingual learners at all levels, from level 1 to level 4.4 when they can exit out of the program. So as you go on, that's the purpose, and I show you that every year. how we use those funds. This year, we have a little bit more money, which is good. We have about $5,400 something dollars. So I'll show you the budget. One of those slides will show you that. And I'll show you the numbers of our students on the next slide, I think. Well, that's the program overview. So we can pass through that, the principles of it. And you can pass through that. Thank you. And what that means, who are the L's? And then here we are up with our numbers. So it starts with kindergarten. It goes up. We don't have many numbers in each level, but the biggest numbers are at John Dalton, which it's always been. It was in Bell Heath when they were at Bell Heath, and now they are entering 7th grade for the first time this past year. And that class is the biggest. And we're all 38. We also have more through virtual, which it lands us over about 57. So I'll just go on to the next slide, and we'll talk about that's a core language, what it means, and how we as a division, we are content oriented in the classroom mainstream, so we mainstream the students in the classroom with English. But we did have a translator, Samara Wilson, and she was phenomenal, and she helped us with our elementary students greatly. She was also hired by the Title I, and she taught reading. So she was very wonderful with our Spanish speakers, and she was very engaging, and she helped us with special ed also, and helping me go into the homes and talking to parents. So well missed, but she'll be helping us virtually with special ed. Okay, the next slide. And then this is our budget. So $3,000, we'll spend about $1,000, and this will be for webinars, for professional development that's provided through travel expenses, staying overnight if they have to. Then we have the rest of the money is in $6,000, but it moves. It moves around in the year depending on what the need is. So that is what that is, and in the end, I think it's like 5,000. Okay.
2,947.
Oh, at the bottom is 4,256.17. But that number on the bottom is wrong, so it needs to be changed. Okay, that's the GEPA, and okay, that's about it. Do you have any questions about it?
How many languages do we serve?
Primarily Spanish. We have Chinese. We have Arabic. And we have Amharic, but I don't think that's a very big population. We only have like maybe two or three families.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Again, not the most exciting work, but so important to our families that need to be made to feel welcome here.
Yeah,
So
it's very
thank you.
important. Family engagement. Also, I work with Jane, and we try to get the families into family engagement.
Well, you
several
guys
times
do
a
great
year.
work. Thank you. All right, so you should probably go ahead and vote on those two.
All right.
Or finish out the list, I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll just do it as they're grouped here.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a motion to accept the Title I, Title II, Title IV, Student Support and Academic Enrichment, 26 to 28 applications?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, carries. Now I need a motion to approve the Title III application, 26 to 27.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I forgot to say aye, but yeah, me too. Okay.
You
All
said
right.
yours yesterday. You
I
said yours
heard-
yesterday.
I heard about that.
I approve the minutes of the board meeting, of city council meeting.
Yes, it was very exciting. From the
They
audience.
said all in favor say, he said all in favor say aye, and I was just sitting there, I just said aye.
It was audience participation.
To be fair,
I was on autopilot or
was
something.
very
Okay.
gently reminded, not you.
It's a conditioned response.
So you
All right.
said it yesterday. You're good.
Okay, I'm covered. All right, I'm gonna skip the appointment of the designee for just a second, and let's go, because I don't want to forget. I need a motion to approve the $750 bonus to our returning part-time personnel.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, appointment of designee. And that designee will be you, correct? And somebody want to explain that for everybody?
Well, if for some reason I'm unable to perform the duties that you guys have entrusted me with, then Dr. McDaniel would step into my role.
Okay. Is this something we have to do every year?
It is.
Oh, okay, because I thought, we already did this.
And a
Okay.
lot of times, policies and other things will call for a superintendent's approval or signature or attention, or the superintendent's designee.
Okay.
So, Dr. McDaniel would step in and be my designee in that occasion.
Of course.
The one thing, I think you can extend it longer than 1 year.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do that, you could.
Is there a limit?
Y'all can't go anywhere then, okay?
It's got to be you.
Stop here. We've done 2 years before, so.
Would you entertain 2 years?
Sure, me, y'all okay with that? Okay, all right. So- A motion to approve the appointment of Dr. McDaniel as the superintendent designee for 26-27 and 27-28. So that would be 26 through 28, correct? Okay. Is there such a move?
So moved.
And second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that carries. Okay. Did we do everything? Did I forget anything?
I think we did it all.
All right. Well, then Ms. Swing, it is
Well,
your
what?
turn
That.
to read us into
Madam
close.
Chair, I move that the board convene in the closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 to discuss the appointment, resignation, and retirement of employees of the school board, as well as number 2, admission of students, and number 3, to discuss consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property, where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We're in closed session. What are you doing?
Well, you
She's
gotta,
going home.
yeah, in a minute. But you
Why-
you
well,
gotta convene us.
Well, I know, but you're not going to need that to certify?
Hey, Jane, I got you. Go ahead.
Am I losing it?
No, we're ready for you.
Okay. All right. I need a motion to convene in regular session, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and if you'll read us, certify our meeting, please.
Madam Chair, I certify that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meetings requirements by Virginia law, and only such public business matters as were identified in motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in said meeting by this public body.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and I need a motion to approve Personnel Matters 1.0.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I need a motion to approve tuition students.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Now, the date for our next regular board meeting is July 14th at 1 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
At the
Here
county.
at the school administration building. That, for anyone who's still awake,
1 o'clock.
that's because we're having our retreat that day,
Uh-huh.
and it will be immediately followed by our regular meeting at 1 o'clock. All right, this meeting is adjourned. Have a good night.